up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is day one. No, pre-day of our Adventures by Disney Southern California 6-night, 5-day trip. We have made it to LA. I didn't do any sort of travel vlog because I had one flight, which was extremely fortunate. As someone, as you probably know, who lives in Alaska, I usually have to do a layover or something along those lines. And luckily I had a direct flight and it was red eye and I slept the entire way. So there really wasn't much to document outside of me snoozing, which I'm sure you guys probably don't want to see. But anyway, we are here. We are at the Loews Hollywood Hotel in downtown LA. And we're actually right across the street from the Ghirardelli Disney Studio Store Hollywood, right off of the Walk of Fame, and it's like hustle and bustle. We can actually see the Hollywood sign from our hotel. It's pretty impressive. But this trip is very exciting. I'm here with my best friend, Nikki. Hello, Nikki! You've probably seen her on the channel before. She also has a channel, which I will link down below. And Terry is getting ready because we're getting ready. Her mom is over there in the bathroom. We will show her in a minute. But we are getting ready for our welcome dinner. So during this trip, there's so many amazing things that we get to do. We get to go to Jim Henson Studios. We get to go to Walt Disney Studios, Walt Disney Archives. We're also going to Disneyland, DCA, and having VIP experiences there. And we just met our tour guides this morning down on the mezzanine level. They're super sweet. Their names are Sammy and Michael. And it's going to be really interesting. There's 31 people, including us, on this journey for the next week. So I am going to vlog as much as possible for you guys. I know that it's definitely not going to be like a typical vlog because I know some of the things we can't actually show, anything that's like backstage or any of the tours. My understanding is that they will tell us when we can and cannot record or take photos or those sorts of things. So my goal is to share as much as I possibly can with you guys. And yeah, it's going to be really exciting. I'm feeling nervous right now. I know Nikki is too. And I think it's because we have to go meet people.
Yes, it's going to be 2 people and we have to stand up like children and go, hi, my name is Nikki and I'm from Kansas and we're here for Disney.
Exactly. Yeah, because they're like, well, it's going to be a welcome dinner and everyone's going to really get to know each other. And we all went, okay, cool. Well, we were okay with it at first, I think. Mm-hmm. And now it's like setting in that it's feeling a little bit nerve wracking, I think.
I told it was 12 people and suddenly
we
it's
did.
1 people. It was 12 parties.
Yeah, so when we...
12 people.
Exactly. So when we booked this, the Vacationista, which that's what they call their travel agents at Adventures by Disney, they told us it was going to be 12 people. Or maybe that's how I heard it, but it was actually 12 parties. So I think that we were just anticipating that there was going to be 12 people and it wasn't going to be this like large group, which is definitely not the case. So it'll be interesting to see how, I guess, intimate it is going to be, because I think our impression, especially because we spent so much money on this, was that it was going to be a little bit more of a smaller group. Yeah. And Terry's here. Terry, say hi.
Hi.
She's got to do her hair. So anyway, well, we will catch up with you guys at the welcome dinner. Again, I will try to show you as much as possible, but let's go have some dinner.
A new home for a while. Let me feel
at dinner. I don't know if we can be recording, but it's
Thank you.
no, thank you. I'm set.
What time is it? It's time for dinner.
I want to go ahead and have a toast to new adventures, new memories, and more importantly, new friends.
Cheers! Oh, cheers!
Okay.
To start somewhere, and why not with Disneyland? And Walt's vision of Disneyland was castles are meant to be invasive and scary and point out the enemy, but he wanted this castle to be welcoming, so which it has welcomed almost 700 million guests in almost 70 years. So think about that. Like everybody, you go to Disneyland, and also, do you remember when you watched your Disney films? That castle that comes down on the screen says Walt Disney Pictures. That's our castle. So just keep that in mind. It's always been there. You don't have to worry. We know a lot of you are planners, which we're here for you. Just ask us. We can tell you, yes, plan that. No, don't plan that. Yes, we're here to help you with that. But all I can say is that we're extremely excited to have you all here. I know for Sammy and I both, it's our home. Like I said, it's our home, and we love sharing our home with you. So we will see friends that we know along the way that are with our Imagineering, or studios, or the park. It's one big family, and you're a part of our family. So we hope you guys have a great week with us.
We just made it home from dinner, and home meaning the hotel. And it was actually pretty good food. It was obviously banquet food, like nothing to super write home about, but it was delicious. So nice and filling and good. We got to meet everyone from the tour. We kind of like bonded with like our table of people who were there. And actually 31 people was less crowded than I had imagined. Did you feel that way at all?
I didn't. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
For some reason I thought 31 was going to be a mob.
Well, yeah, I did too. I guess I've never seen 31 people exactly in like a specific room together. Yeah. I don't know. But it was less intimidating than I had imagined that it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was almost like to have that group of people and to have a number on it. I was like,
right.
Oh, this isn't that bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it was a lot less intimidating. And our tour guides are so funny. They complement each other very well. They both have like kind of different senses of humor, and they both have a lot of experience on this specific tour, which is great. Like, I'm so thankful for that. And then we're starting out super early tomorrow, so this vlog is going to continue. We are going to be going to Jim Henson tomorrow, Jim Henson Studios, the TCL Chinese Theater. We're going to El Capitan Theater, and then we're going to Griffith Park to see Wald's Barn. So we're going to take you guys along, but it's time for us to get in the shower and go to sleep, because we're going to get 8 hours of sleep, I think.
We should have plenty of
We'll
sleep.
be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only 8.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
only 8.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 8:24.
Okay, we're going to say goodnight to you, but we'll see you in a second. Good night!
Oh, sorry, good night.
Good morning, everyone. It is the next day. We are all gathered at Preston's, which is the restaurant on the mezzanine level of the Loews Hotel, for breakfast. So this is one of the meals that's complimentary with our tour. We had a pretty rushed around morning. We had to be up at 6. And today, as you can probably tell, is Jim Henson Studio Day. I've got like Miss Piggy and Kermit on. I went all out with little Jim Henson outfit. But we are gonna be having some breakfast at Preston's. Preston's has a great breakfast buffet, which I will be showing you guys here. Right as you walk in, there is a huge station with eggs and all different types of meats, including an omelet station. Then they had a small salad bar, and also on the other side of this table was an oatmeal bar. Then we had bagels and toast that you can toast yourself with some butter and cream cheese. And the next table over was all fresh fruit, and you can also take this and put that in your backpack for later for a snack. Then there was this station that had different types of vegetables plus croissants, and this beautiful pastry station, which all the pastries were so nice, and like a little charcuterie board area and more. But it corresponds with a certain pin, so I will pop that up. And we're going to go through the initial history of the Walt Disney Company on Hollywood Boulevard. So that's what we're doing, and we're heading to El Capitan right now. We've made it to the El Capitan Theater.
Ever since, but it reopened again as the El Capitan Theater with its 1920s aesthetic and facade back in 1991. Since then, it's been operated by the Disney Company. And the little fun fact is when it reopened as the El Capitan in 1991, it reopened with the premiere of The Rocketeer.
What do we have on Hollywood Boulevard?
Well, funny you should ask that. We actually had a mega loop-de-loop roller coaster on the boulevard that guests would be able to ride before entering the theater for the premiere. And the cool thing about that is that it really kind of set a precedent for how movie premieres are done. There's always some kind of crazy thing on the boulevard for these premieres. For Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and for all the other premieres we had, like AT-ATs, AT-ATs, however you guys want to call them, on the boulevard. Most recently for Wish, we had a drone light show right above the theater that you guys might have seen footage of if you guys saw footage from the premiere. So always a lot of a little history on the organ is that these theater pipe organs became very popular during the time of silent films because it was more cost efficient for a theater owner to pay for an organist as opposed to paying for a full-blown orchestra. As you can see with Ethel, she's got multiple keyboards on her.
So it has 3,000 pipes from as low as a pencil all the way up to a 37-foot telephone pole. But we want everyone to have a photo op with Ethel, so why doesn't everyone come on stage?
Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. What's up of Ethel? She's a stunner. We love you, Ethel. Wow. Oh my gosh. We are now backstage, and they have an old school pulley system just like a regular theater would. And then this is some of the lighting for Wish, the premiere of Wish. Oh, look at this classic. Oh, they have Little Mermaid. Okay, we're in the basement and they have all of these original posters. Oh my god.
Right behind me is a weird looking door, right? A little history on this and a little history on the lady that actually developed this. The lady that developed this, her name is Bernette Ritchie. She is a Disney legend, and back in the early days of the El Capitan in the early 90s, she actually worked here at the El Capitan and created a lot of our stage shows. She went on to create a very famous stage show you guys might know called Fantasmic. And in Fantasmic, if you guys have seen it before, one of the more magical moments of Fantasmic is Sorcerer Mickey appearing on stage in the blink of an eye, and then disappearing again in the blink of an eye. And, well, this is that contraption right here. This is called a Mickey lift. And if you turn right behind you, you actually see it right there on the console. Mickey lift. There are 3 in the U.S., 1 at Disney World, 1 at Disneyland, and 1 right here at the El Capitan. We've used it multiple times for some of our stage shows. For The Last Jedi, we had Rey come out onto the stage through the Mickey lift, and then they had a lightsaber battle with Kylo Ren. We've used it for Maleficent. We actually had a magician, Greg Wilson, who performs often at the Magic Castle in Hollywood. He appeared on stage through the Mickey lift, and we've used it all different times. There was once a week's worth of taping of The View done here at the El Capitan on our stage. And if you guys search El Capitan The View, you'll see Whoopi Goldberg come up through the Mickey lift as well.
That's awesome.
So if you guys kind of want to rotate, take a look, snap a picture of the Mickey lift controller.
Okay, so here is a close-up of the Mickey lift. So it's definitely got some hydraulics going on, and then here's what it looks like down there. I'll try to brighten it up for you guys.
So this is actually our, as I said, our green room. But one of the things we do here is we do a lot of press junkets. Press junket is when press from around the world comes in here and they interview the star one-on-one. So for Pirates of the Caribbean, Johnny Depp was right there where Michael was in a director's chair. Keira Knightley was here and Orlando Bloom. And press from around the world came in here and was a one-on-one interview. If you ever saw it on TV, it looked like it was just the actor in an interview. There must have been 50 people in here. So we did that for Cars 2 as well with Larry the Cable Guy and Owen Wilson.
We've made our way upstairs and now we're in this really beautiful dressing room. So this is a great example of what their typical dressing rooms look like in the El Capitan. Right outside of the dressing room was this amazing wall that was filled with signatures of people who have been to this theater before. We've got Margaret Kelly, who was the model for Tinkerbell. We also have Josh Gad, one of my personal favorites, Pete Docter and Floyd Norman, which was amazing. Also, we have Jim Cummins, who does lots of Disney voices, including Winnie the Pooh, and of course the Avengers, which was so cool to see.
Okay, Jimmy, can you run the curtain show, please?
Made our way across the street to the TCL Theater where they're setting up for the Hunger Games premiere.
For now, Sid Grauman, you'll hear about him later, opened the Chinese Theater on May 18, 1927, with the world premiere of Cecil B. DeMille's epic, The King of Kings. For that premiere, the theater was sold out. It was over 2,000 seats back in the days. Over the years, there were changes to the screen, to the auditorium. Nowadays, we have 932. By these beautiful murals of a Chinese gardening setting. This is all hand-painted by the Chinese-American actor and painter Key Luke. Key Luke is very well known, for example, as Master Fu in the Kung Fu movie and TV series. Everything you see here in the center is original, hasn't been touched up or repainted since we opened almost 100 years ago. Wow. And then you see these red lamps. Back in the days, they have been incense burners. So there was a scent with fragrance in the air. So not only looked like a Chinese gardening setting, it also smelled like one. Now if you look through the lobby, we have various costumes which are originals or exact replicas. And the first one is the blue dress, which is Dorothy's dress from The Wizard of Oz. An extra booth in the back of the auditorium to show the film, the movie on 70mm film. So they had to build an extra projection booth in there for take-on seats. And now you see the floor, the chairs, these are replicas. The curtain is an exact replica from the original one, just because of everyday wear and tear. And what they did for the curtain is they took the original image.
Hollywood, land of magic, glamour, and make-believe. Home to the studio dream factories. Since the motion picture industry first became the preeminent source of American entertainment in the early 1920s, the Hollywood community has held a mythical spot in the imagination of movie lovers everywhere. Perhaps no place within that community epitomizes Hollywood and all it represents more than the Chinese theater. With its ornamental facade and courtyard of famous hand and footprints, the TCL Chinese Theater is the most visited site in all of Hollywood, attracting an average of 5 million visitors each year.
Back in the Loews Hotel, going through the El Capitan was amazing. That curtain show was awesome. So they were saying that the more prestigious the theater is, the more curtains they have. And that actually shows before every single movie. So tonight when we go to the Marvels, we're going to see it again. And that curtain that has all the crystals are actual Swarovski crystals, which is so impressive because that is humongous Swarovski crystals. So the premiere that we found out is for the Hunger Games and it starts at 6 p.m. So tonight when we go to the movie, there's a good possibility that we may see some celebrities arrive, so that'll be really interesting. Out on the Walk of Fame, I did put my hands in the Avengers handprints, and I can confirm Chris Hemsworth has the largest hands, so do with that what you may. Where are we going? Jesse here. We ended up going to Jim Henson Studios for about it was actually a little bit over an hour. It wasn't quite 2 hours. And there was a lot of really cool things. So what was really interesting, the Charlie Chaplin lot is where it's at. And so it's very, very small. It's one of the first movie studios that was built in Hollywood, they said, and so it's obviously, things were a lot smaller back then, and it's one of the smallest working lots currently. And it was really cool because we split off into 2 separate groups. Oh wait, before that, we got to see this really cool introduction video, and it was these 2 characters that they actually created for Adventures by Disney. It was like a pig named Bobby, and do you remember what the security...
Like his producer? Yeah, his producer.
His producer. Maybe it was Sammy.
I think it was Sammy.
Okay. So yeah, Sammy, and they talked all about the history of the lot and the Jim Henson Company's time on the Charlie Chaplin lot, and it was hilarious. Yeah, they mispronounced Charlie Chaplin's name probably like 10 times. Chamblin.
And then the studio could not come into fruition without destroying because they destroyed the Orange Groves.
Yes, destroyed the Orange Groves.
Charlie Chaplin was a hero for making the deal and destroying the groves.
and then making the puppets. They have a barn where they made the puppets, and those are clearly toys for babies.
Yeah.
Not puppets, they are toys for babies.
Yeah, Bobby was very, very, very excited to go pet all the animals in the barn, and then he was like, but they're dead! And then when he realized they were puppets, and then he's like, these are toys for babies!
Toys for babies! It was
and
so
then he was
funny.
trying to explain it to him, and then he's like, these are toys for babies! It was funny.
It was very funny, and our tour guides use a lot of like the silly things that happen in this intro video as like inside humor for them, because that film that was the intro was actually made specifically for Adventures by Disney, so it's not viewed by very many people, so it's kind of a fun inside joke for them. But then they split us into 2 groups. We got to go to actually see a puppeteer work his magic. It was super cool. His name is Andrew Cano. I'll insert some photos. He actually performed on Sesame Street. He also voiced and does the puppetry work for DJ Panda. And so we got to meet DJ Panda, and he actually did a demonstration of how they actually film. It was really, really interesting. So I'll insert some photos here while I'm kind of talking about it because it was really interesting. And then as we were standing there, Drew Massey walked by, who's a very famous puppeteer, and he has worked on several different films, and he was actually going to teach Peggy, who I'll talk about in a moment, about how to do the Jim Henson digital puppetry. And I didn't realize that they do digital puppetry. So yeah, so there's a show called Splash and Bubbles, and they use digital puppetry, and what that means is like they have a character on screen, and then there's someone that's actually using hand and foot controls to move their body, their mouth, their head, and everything. So it's not actual animation, it is puppetry, and I didn't realize that was happening.
Yeah, I feel like it's not unlike Crush, like Talking with Crush.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of, because when I saw her, she did the demonstration for us, and she was singing, she was moving her mouth to Pink,
yeah, sung by Pink.
Yeah, What About Us, yeah. And about the time she was doing it, I was like, I think this is what they do for that talk with Crush.
Yeah, Turtle Talk.
Turtle Talk, yeah, because that's how he interacts so quickly. It's a puppeteer.
Right, and that makes sense. Yeah. I just never thought of it that way.
I never did either until I watched her do it, and I was like, I think that's what this is.
Yep.
Because that makes sense to me. That's why he's talking.
Yeah.
It isn't animation, it's a puppeteer, and this is digital puppetry.
Yeah, it was such interesting technology. It wasn't really anything I'd ever thought of before, but I will insert some pictures. I found some pictures online of digital puppetry, and so it was really cool. So Peggy Etra. She's been with Puppet Up for 13 years. She's worked at Jim Henson for over 30 years, and she was there demonstrating because she was learning the Jim Henson digital puppetry. So there's one hand signal, or not signal, but what would you call it? It's like a hand mechanism that runs the mouth. The other hand mechanism runs the head up and down and sideways and stuff like that. And then she had 4 foot pedals that I'm assuming control the body. So she was saying it was like learning an instrument. And so she was practicing with that song from Pink. And it was so interesting to see her work a squid. It was a squid on the screen that she was doing the digital puppetry for. It was so cool. She was saying that they use this in Puppet Up, which is the live production. So they do digital puppetry for the improv portions of the show, which is pretty cool. And then randomly, we walked by Jim Henson's daughters who were walking through the lot. And it was really interesting. They actually stopped at one of the little kiosks that Adventures by Disney put up, and they were looking at their family photo. And I thought that that was really, really cool. So we got to see them. Obviously, no one interrupted them. No. They were on their way doing something.
They said hi to the whole group.
Yeah.
They were both like, hi, hi, and we were like, hi. I had no idea who they were.
Yeah.
They were just 2 really nice ladies.
Yeah.
Hi, hi.
Yeah. No, it was the CEO of Jim Henson Company. It was Lisa Henson just hanging out.
That was nice.
I know, right? And then we got to go in this really cool building. It was the reception office, and we all got to hold Jim Henson's Emmy, which was super cool. And then we walked over to the cafe, which is where they have this like super duper tiny gift shop. And there was a woman, because they were actually doing some sort of filming. There was a woman in a full black suit that had like the little circles on it. So she was doing some sort of physical acting that's going to be CGI. So she was wearing her suit. She had like a helmet thing on, and it was
a mic on her mouth.
Yeah, she had a mic.
Yeah. We were like, she's doing some green screen CGI stuff. Yeah, she walked in and was like, oh, because it's the commissary kitchen thing, so she's coming in on break, and she was like, what is everybody?
Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, you look so fancy, and she's like, you look fancy, and I was like, oh, thanks. It was so funny. But that was really cool to see. So they actually were filming something. We don't really know what it was, but they were filming something while we were there. We made it which to Tam O'Shanter, or as we like to call it, Tim Shatner. And you'll have to see Nikki's vlog to understand what we're talking about, but this is the restaurant where Walt and his Imagineers used to have lunch because they didn't have a cafeteria back in the day. And they mentioned that got inspired by this restaurant for Snow White, which makes sense. Very whimsical. It definitely looks like you're going into Snow White's cottage.
Wish that I could stay in this moment forever, so I can hold you in my arms. I will carry you on my shoulders as long as I'm able.
Table 31, so this is a table that Walt Imagineers and vendors like to come and visit and sit and come to Tam O'Shanter. Here you can see there are some carvings in the table. You look closely, be able to see the dinosaur right here, and then you have a T-Rex over here on this side, and then you do have other things like right here. It says contact Carlos about quote unquote tomorrow. There's a date right there, 5/16/64, and then you have some little dolls that look like maybe it's a small doll, some different designs. So they were actually from cocktail napkins. So they test sketches on cocktail napkins that they had in the archive. They brought those over. They were able to take them and carve them into the table. So just kind of like they were things that they were working on when they were visiting the Tam O'Shanter. So Walt would say, you guys are running out of ideas. Here's 50 cents. We're going to try and dinner. Come back with some new ideas. So they would come, have something to eat, have a cocktail, and then start. Their ideas would start coming in, and they would start sketching. What did you sketch on? Cocktail napkins. So they took those napkins later on and brought those sketches, and they sketched them onto the table as permanent fixtures. The table is still used to this day, so it's not something that's, we don't touch it as Walt. But it's still in remembrance of Walt. We even have the plaque right there. It says this was a favorite spot of Walt Disney and his Imagineers. because they needed somewhere to go because there was no commissary at the studio lot. Not the one we're going to visit tomorrow, but the one prior to that. They used to be an organ factory.
The one on Hyperion Lane?
Yes, Hyperion Avenue, yes. So they would come here, and this was their commissary. Now, when they would sit here and they're coming up with different ideas, like I said, different attractions came from this. So think of the 1964-65 New York World's Fair. Attractions like Great with Mr. Lincoln, It's a Small World, Carousel of Progress, and Ford's Magic Skyway. So these dinosaurs came from the Ford's Magic Skyway. They still have homes at Disneyland to this day. So when you decide to do the Disneyland Railroad, do it. You haven't done it. It's your first time. You'll see these dinosaurs in the Time of the World diorama. So that diorama was from the New York World's Fair. And so it lives there at Disneyland still to this day. We still have 3 of the 4 attractions, more or less, that were at the World's Fair. So we have It's a Small World, the original It's a Small World that was at the World's Fair. Great One with Mr. Lincoln. And we have the diorama. If you can still go see some of that park.
We finally made it to Griffith Park. We were at the railroad area after about a 20-minute drive. The lunch at Tam O'Shatner's was really, really delicious. They had a nice creamy horseradish and the prime rib was delightful. How was your lunch?
Delicious. The brisket.
Yeah.
I even bought a pin that says brisket for the brisket.
Yeah.
It's been a brisket.
We got
delicious.
Yeah, and I had her pickles too, and they were very good. I can vouch for that too. Another thing I want to say about Tam O'Shatner was it was very, very noticeable how the Imagineers took inspiration from the exterior of the facility for Snow White's cottage, but also you can see similarities into that and to Disneyland. Like, it very much looked like it was almost out of Disneyland, but oddly it's what inspired it. So that was really kind of cool to see. And now Walt's barn. Here is Walt's barn. So this was disassembled from his property kind of near the Griffith Park area and rebuilt here after his property was purchased and they were actually going to tear down the house and the barn. So they rebuilt it here, and apparently inside is where they came up with some of the sketches for Tom Sawyer's Island in Disneyland. One of the workers here was telling me that a person who belongs to their train club actually created this diorama, and it took them between 10 to 12 years to make, and they actually still work on it to this date. It is so stunning. You can really, really tell Walt's love of trains with all of this train memorabilia that was from him and his home, and also things that inspired different things in Disneyland. Here's one of the original railroad cars that they have inside of this facility. They actually repainted it when they placed it in this facility, and it was really interesting. They were talking about the selection of the paint and how they actually were able to find the original paint vendor, and they were able to match the paint exactly to a T to what it was on opening day at Disneyland. Here we're rolling up in the bus to the Griffith Park Carousel, and this was where Walt came up with the concept of Disneyland. His daughters loved this carousel. Unfortunately, it's not currently open to the public, so it was fully shut down, so we could only see it from afar, but it still was really beautiful. Tour guides are having an ice cream show social starting at 4 o'clock, so we've got another 20 minutes before we're gonna head across the street and go have some ice cream, and then we're free for the night, but we're going to continue on with you guys, bring you along to the El Capitan Theater for the Marvels, and of course to the ice cream social. So we have a private little area. We've got our own like little waitress and a waiter over there, and then we have these tables that are reserved. And so currently no one can sit with us in our little area here at Deli's. So VIP. And they are paying for everything, so we got to order anything off of the menu, which was very exciting. So we'll show you around. So if you're curious, this is what the movie premiere is looking like right now. It's right around 5 o'clock. Is it 5? Quarter till 5. So you can see camera people and having a woman getting ready to interview some of the stars that are going to walk down the red carpet. It's pretty cool. I'm not sure if we're going to see anyone, but if we do, I'll let you know. finished with the Marvels. It was surprisingly really good. I didn't, I guess I didn't give it much thought beforehand, so I didn't really have expectations. But it was actually fairly funny, and it had a good story. So, yeah, if you like Marvel, I think you'd probably like it. It had a really good post-credit scene, too, that was kind of interesting, that made me want to watch more Marvel films after that. But, of course, my favorite part had to be the Flurkins. So there's several cats in this one, which was like right up my alley. So we ended up just going to the movies. We're back now. Tomorrow is going to be kind of interesting. So tonight we have to pack, and then they gave us these luggage tags. So we have to place the luggage sticky tags on our luggage and leave our luggage by 7:15 in the morning. Oh yes, these. So they gave us each 2, and then on the, I'm not going to show the back, but on the back they have our name as well as our reservation number, and those are used internally within the Disney, Adventures by Disney and Disney team. And so I guess they're going to write our hotel room number, and then they're going to deliver all of our bags to our hotel room at the Grand Californian tomorrow. So we still have to get packed and showered and get to bed because we have to be up at 6 in the morning. So what an epic day. I would love to know what your favorite part was. I think everything at Jim Henson I really enjoyed. What about you guys? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So it makes me wonder how they're going to tie in the rest of the adventure when we get to Disneyland and do the other, like the tours and things that they're telling us we're going to get to do there, and how we see the early years going into the development. So just the history has been really...
Yeah, it has been cool. Oh, the curtain show. The curtain show. I could seriously watch the curtain show like every day. Like if they could just keep that going. It was so pretty.
I really enjoyed going to Walt's Barn.
Yeah. And you got challenge coins there.
Challenge coins that I got, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to go to the movie at El Capitan.
Yeah.
Just the top
Mm-hmm.
of a really cool day.
It was. Yeah. Icing on the cake. Yeah. So at 4 o'clock, that's when they let us out, in case you're watching, if you need to know about the itinerary. But yeah, so I do want to show you guys really quick, though. They said they don't do this, but they did print out tickets because we asked them to. Here it is. It says El Capitan, and then it has, we hope you enjoyed the show, like some of the guidelines and stuff, but I thought that was really a cool memento. So it was really nice. The gentleman out front helped us out with that, and he was like so accommodating and so nice. So everyone has been so great here, especially like El Capitan has like really gone above and beyond. Our adventure guides have been really good. So it's just been a really good first day. I'm excited to see. Tomorrow is going to be absolutely epic. So be sure to be subscribed, guys. Leave a comment for us down below. Let us know what you enjoyed, and we will see you guys in the next video. TJ Fun. Bye. Amy?